the individual who sees that something is amiss in the world, sees also the opportunity to make it better, and who pulls up his or her socks, creates the venture, summons the resources, assumes the risk, and drives that venture unrelentingly to bring about change that she or he envisions so clearly, that's an entrepreneur. That's a social entrepreneur. That is a rare individual.
Hi, welcome to Social Entrepreneurship School. In this lesson, we'll be talking about financial and resource capacity. The emergence of revenue-generating activities for nonprofits has created a new operating model where market characteristics coexist with responsiveness to community and serving the public interest. Essential to the success of a social enterprise is an effective financial management. It will help you to manage your resources effectively, monitor performance, improve decision-making, plan for the future, and identify problems, such as the need to raise finance or cash flow difficulties before they occur. Financial intelligence is very important for your social enterprise. Keeping expenses in check is crucial for any business. But for many entrepreneurs, it's also about figuring out how to keep your operations afloat for long enough until you're cash flow positive.
I jump up on the stage and do my money dance. I throw some money up and watch the money land. I do my money dance. I do my money dance.
A frequent mistake when it comes to financial planning is to put it on the back burner, to think you can do it later and focus on the creation part of the business first. When you commit to running a business, it's important to first get your finances in order and figure out how much money you need, how much leeway you have, and how much credit you have at your disposal for emergencies. Create a plan, set your pricing, and allocate your budget accordingly. A solid financial position will allow you to pursue your mission with flexibility and high-quality service beyond mere stability. A financial plan provides the framework for social entrepreneurs to forecast the resources they need to create and sustain social and economic value. Remember, your plan must describe the potential return on investment and the desired social outcomes, and provide a framework for assessing social performance. The ultimate goal is to achieve sustainability by enabling nonprofits to support themselves financially in innovative ways instead of relying solely on grants and donations. Here's what the founder of Start Some Good has to say about that.
You often hear that you need to design a minimum viable product, and that's exactly right. What is the minimum service or product that you can deliver to your customers while still making them happy? But I think you also need to design a minimum viable life. What I mean by that is to be really clear with yourself as to what you need in the short to medium term to sustain yourself while you go through this entrepreneurial journey. Could you live on 2-minute noodles for 6 months? Would you be willing to move home with your parents, or could you live in the garage? You need to ask yourself these questions up front so that you don't essentially drain your energy within 3 months from having to make more sacrifices than you want to make. And if you can align your business so that it serves your minimum viable life, you have a sustainable platform to let the business grow at its own pace.
Ooh.
Resource capacity planning is a tool used to determine the resources needed by an organization in order to meet workflow demands. The goal of resource capacity planning as a whole is to determine the organization's capability to commit resources to new approved workflows. Be aware of your financing and funding options beyond the traditional approaches, and learn to recognize complementary and antagonistic assets and turning them into opportunities. Complementary assets are the financial assets, infrastructure, or human capabilities you need to commercialize and profit from your product or service. Antagonistic assets are those normally excluded or overlooked by traditional markets as employees, producers, or consumers. They're believed to lack skills required by the market, but if utilized in the right and innovative way, you can add a lot of value and keep costs low. Your target group can be the actor, customer, user, or anyone that adds value to the business and not just beneficiaries. For example, the jewelry brand The Giving Keys recognized the untapped potential of an often marginalized group and hired homeless people to make their jewelry, and have employed more than 70 people and helped 22 people move into permanent housing. On the business side, they achieved a 50% growth rate and nearly 8 figures in revenue in 2017. Or like how Dialogue in the Dark promotes their mission of social inclusion and runs their business by employing blind people globally, training them as tour guides in the exhibitions, which are held in complete darkness.
Turn off that light! Turn off that light! Put out those lights! Turn out that light! Turn out those lights!
3 tips for effective resource management. 1. You want to plan for efficient resource management. By planning your project, you'll be able to gauge what resources you'll need on hand and organize for these to be used appropriately and effectively. Identify what resources will be needed and the time period of each throughout the duration of the project. Estimate how long each will be employed and the work required at each stage before scheduling it in. 2. Using technology to automate some aspects of your project can minimize the risks of making mistakes and free up manpower to be relocated elsewhere. However, do ensure your automated procedures are tested thoroughly before going live, in case there are any glitches which could cost dearly down the road. 3. Your staff are the backbone of your venture, and keeping them happy and motivated will go a long way in making sure your business runs smoothly. Longer-term staff will be more familiar with your projects and know your resources and challenges better, which is important for good execution and efficiency. Now that we've covered the basics of financial management and resource capacity planning, it's time for you to brainstorm some ideas of your own. Do you have any ideas on how you can maintain healthy financial conditions for your social enterprise? Who are the people that can help you in that regard? Are you able to identify your complementary and antagonistic assets? Tell us about your ideas in the discussion page.